Hello and good evening, everyone. I hope you're able to hear me. My audio is loud and clear to everyone. Can you confirm it? Yes, good evening, Ranjana. Right, so today we are going to discuss yet another very important unit from your CSIR NET syllabus, which is your Unit 10. Now, before I start with Unit 10, just let me tell you something that Unit 10 is very easy, very easy, in fact, and it is more like storytelling. Please excuse my voice. Right. From this topic, you get some subjective kind of questions, and you can also get numerical based question as well as your graphical. Okay. So again, I am here with 10 such questions. So we will discuss some numerical questions, some graphical questions. All right. So I hope everyone is ready. Shall we start? Type BIO if you want me to start right away. Bring it on, BIO. So as we have done for the other series, I will give you the question. You try to solve it yourself and then I will discuss. Okay? Because our motto is not just to listen, but to analyze it ourselves, to understand what is our preparation, what is the standard of our preparation, okay, and obviously practice. So, the first question we will start from your population ecology, the chapter. And this is a numerical based question, as you can see here. They have said the following is the life table of a natural population of a small annual succulent, where X is its life phase, L is its survivorship till that stage, and dx is its age specific mortality. So they have given you the succulents, the list, right, and the different stages. So seed produce, seeds available, germinated, and so on. And then you have Lx that is given to you, dx is given to you. What you have to find? Which of the following options from the above life phases show the lowest age specific mortality rate? So you need to understand what is this specific age specific mortality rate. Do you remember? What is this age specific mortality rate? For those who are a Biotecnika student, we have already discussed this in the class, right? We have discussed the life table in the class. We have seen how to calculate the life table. And these terminologies, these things are very familiar to you. And I hope that you remember that discussion. So, how will you calculate the age specific mortality rate? Who can tell me? What is the formula for age specific mortality rate calculation? Who can tell me this? No? Okay, so age specific mortality, that is represented as your QX, and that is equals to dx by Lx. So now can you calculate this QX for all the different succulents and tell me what should be the answer? Okay, I'm giving you 2 minutes to do this. Quickly find out. I've given you the formula, age specific mortality, QX is equals to dx by Lx. Take your pen and paper. Quickly find out for each of these stages. So seed produced, what is the QX? Seeds available, what is the QX? Quickly do this and tell me what should be the answer. So life table is very important. You get different kinds of questions from life table and it comes under the chapter population ecology. So there are many things to study from your population ecology. You have a lot of numerical questions which can be asked as well as theoretical and graphical questions from this chapter. So you can have the dispersion. From there you can get numerical based questions also. You can get numerical based question from your population growth, or you can say population growth rate. Then population size calculation, life table. All right. Graphical questions can also be asked from your population growth, from the dispersion, from size, survivorship curve, from age pyramids. So, population ecology is a very, very important chapter. And yes, you do get questions from your meta populations as well. That is a section which we normally tend to leave out, but then questions have come from that section also. So, have you found out what should be the correct answer? So, the first one that you do is 0.16 divided by 1, right? So, that will give you 0.16. The next one, seeds available for that, it is 0.63 divided by 0.840, which is 0.75. Next, you have the germinated seed. So that is your 0.17 divided by 0.210, 0.80. Established, 0.009 divided by 0.033, which is 0.27. Rosettes, it is 0.010 divided by 0.024. That will give you 0.41. Matured, you will get 0.014 divided by 0.014, that will be 1. So what should be the correct one? You have to find the lowest age specific mortality rate. So the correct answer is option 1. Okay. Moving to the second question. The second question is from your chapter Community Ecology. So they're asking the number of individuals of different species in two communities, P and Q, is given below. Okay, so you have the species given here, and the individual abundance of the species are given in the two communities P and Q. Based on the given data, select the correct statement. So, what should you do? How should you approach these kinds of questions? Any idea how should you approach these kinds of questions? What do you think? It is talking about what? So they are saying that community P has higher species diversity than Q. Community Q has higher species diversity than P. Both communities P and Q are equally diverse. Data is not sufficient to compute species diversity. What should be the answer? Again, for those who are Biotecnika students, we have already discussed these questions. Species diversity, we have done the sums, right? I even have told you the two parameters which defines species diversity. So how should you solve this sum? Will you sit and calculate? If you sit and calculate, then which formula you're going to use? If you're going to use your logic to find this answer, then what is the logic? Just let me know. Just tell me this. How should you approach? Like, what should you do? Formula for species diversity equals to total number of organisms divided by number of organisms in one species. So that means you are saying that you will calculate each and every species. Is that so? Don't you think that will take a lot of time? So you can find out the species diversity based on Shannon index also or Simpson also. But don't you think it is going to take a lot of time to do that? Because the number of species are many here, just not one and two. So instead of that, it's better to apply logic. Isn't it? So you can also check it yourself. The formula and the logic will come, normally it comes same. So here my logic is species diversity is dependent upon two parameters. One is the species richness, the other one is the species evenness. So richness wise, do you think that the two communities are different? What is species richness? Who can tell me what is species richness, and do you think that the two communities are different? So, richness is actually talking about the different kinds of species that you have, or the different types of species that you have, right? So, obviously, we can see here that both the communities have the same set of species, A to J, right? So, richness wise, both the communities are same. What is the other parameter? Evenness. So, if you judge by evenness, you will see that Q is more even than P. So, it's likely that community Q has higher species diversity than P. Okay? You can definitely cross check with any of the formulas. But the answer is community Q has higher species diversity than P. I hope you have understood. So this is a part C question. But if you use logic, then as you have seen, it has become very simple and you can answer in seconds. You just have to know what is the logic behind the question. Okay, moving to question number 3. Lindman's efficiency between trophic levels is depicted by the formula efficiency A by B, where A and B respectively are what? Now, the first thing is, from where is this question asked? From which chapter? Very simple. Who can tell me this? From which chapter this question is asked? You see, when a question will be given to you, you first need to understand from where it has been asked. Only then all the concepts which you have learned in that chapter will come to your mind. You will be able to recollect. If you don't know from where this is asked, from which part it is asked, what are the concepts it is dealing with, then you will be at a total loss. Okay? So, this is a question from your ecology, the trophic levels. All right? So you have the different trophic levels, and this is particularly from your uh, is from your secondary production. Okay, so basically efficiency is calculated as your assimilation at trophic level n and assimilation at trophic level n minus 1. Yeah, ecosystem. Okay, it is from ecosystem, correct. So it is calculated as assimilation at trophic level n and assimilation at trophic level n minus 1, or it can be represented as n plus 1 by n. The meaning is the same. Either you can write it in this way or you can write it as n divided by n minus 1, depending upon which trophic level you are considering. But it is always, it is a higher trophic level divided by the lower one. That is the main thing. Is a higher trophic level divided by the lower one. Like for example, if I want to find out the assimilation, the efficiency between fox and hare, okay, or fox and rabbit, if you see, then obviously fox is at a higher trophic level than the rabbit, isn't it? So it will be fox assimilation in fox divided by assimilation in rabbit. So if you consider rabbit as n, then fox will be n plus 1 because it is a level higher. If you consider fox as n, then rabbit will be n minus 1, a level lower. Understood? But it is always higher trophic level divided by the lower one. That is your efficiency formula. So again, this is a very subjective question. Okay? Nothing to do with maths. Again, this is a part C question. Subjective. Now, once again, you have a question from population ecology. This is talking about your population growth. And this is, as you can see, this is a numerical based question. Yeah, Rucha, for the previous one, you're saying option 1 is correct. Okay, option 1 for the previous question, it is right. Okay, so here what they are saying is the population size of a bird increased from 600 to 645 in 1 year. If the per capita birth rate of this population is 0.1, excuse me, 0.125, what is its per capita death rate? So what's the formula of growth rate? What is the formula of this per capita growth rate? So you have two formulas here, if you can recollect. One is a logistic, one is exponential. Which one will you use here? Will you use the exponential or will you use logistic? Which formula you're going to apply? Once you have decided on that which formula to use, now you can relate the figures, the numbers which are given here with the formula. So according to the question, N0, that is the initial population, is 600. NT, that is a population after some time, the time is not mentioned here exactly. Oh yes, one year it is mentioned. Okay, this is equals to 645. That means what is the increase? What is the delta n? Obviously it is 645 minus 600, so that is your 45. Right? That is your delta n. What else is given to you? Per capita birth rate is given to you, which is 0.125. And you have to find out per capita death rate. Right? So how will you do? What is R? R is the per capita growth rate, right? So how will you find R? It is your delta n by initial population or N0. So that means it is your 45 divided by 600. So that will give you 0.075. Okay. Now R is also represented as your per capita birth rate minus death rate. So now if you place the values here, so you need to find out D, right? So D is equals to B minus R, right? So B is given to you, that is 0.125, and R you already have found out, it is 0.075. So what is D? D is equals to 0.05. So your correct answer is option C. Okay, so the sums, the formula you have studied, what is the meaning of each terms in that formula you have already studied. So you just have to apply those concept again. Okay. All right. Moving forward to question number 5. Come on. This is a very subjective question. No maths, no graph. So this is saying a large patch of forested area was devastated by raging fires. After some years, the area was found to recover its species. Which one of the following options best describes the process of re-establishment in the area? So right now what is happening in California? The forest fire, okay, which is going to which is already has devastated a forest, the plantations and everything. So after a few years, what is you're going to see? So this is again a question from which chapter? Which chapter they're asking this question from? Can someone tell me that? Which chapter? This is from succession. So in that chapter, you have studied primary succession and secondary succession. So this is a question based on what? What are they hinting? Primary or secondary? First, this is what you have to understand. The scenario that they have given you here is talking about which one? Primary or the secondary? And then think about what happens in primary and what happens in secondary. What is the starting point of primary and what is the starting point of secondary? No? Would you like to answer this? Would you like to answer this? Well, the correct answer is option 4. You start with grasses, then herbs and shrubs, and then woody trees. Why is it that? Because here they have already said that a large patch of forested area was devastated. That means there was a forest which got devastated, which got destroyed. So that means the soil is already formed. You don't have to waste time in forming the soil. So you can straight away start from the plantation, from the vegetation, right? So what is the first stage of vegetation? For that is the grasses. Okay? So grasses, herbs and shrubs, followed by woody trees. So What is your opinion about the questions? Do you think it's very, very difficult? Or do you need that a brushing up of your concept will help? What's the feedback? So far, I have just covered 5 questions. 5 more is left. Come on, if you don't give me any answers, then I'm not understanding whether you are understanding the explanations or not. I want all of you to benefit out of this session. So, are you getting an idea how to approach the question, how to prepare your topic? Yeah? Okay. Now, question number 6. This is a graphical question. Now, many students, as soon as they see a graph, they start to panic. There's nothing to panic. When you see a graph, read what is given to you, read the graph as well. It might be very easy. It might look to be very difficult, but when you read the statements and when you analyze the graph as per the statements, you might find that it is very, very easy. This is one of that kind of question, which initially might look to be very difficult, you know, but you read it, what they are saying. So they are saying that this is a bubble plot, shows an effect of temperature and precipitation on annual growth of trees of a certain species. The area of a bubble is proportional to the tree growth. So that means larger the bubble, that means there are that many number of trees. So small bubbles means fewer trees, okay, few number of trees. Large bubble means there are more number of trees. Okay, so the area of the bubble is proportional to the tree growth. Based on the plot, the tree growth of the tree is. So now they are asking you to find a link between precipitation and temperature. So they have given you the temperature on the y-axis and the precipitation on the x-axis. So what do you think should be the correct answer? Okay, before that, have you realized from which question, from which chapter this question has been asked? Could you identify the chapter? Which chapter this is asked? No? This is chapter 1. This is asked from the very first chapter, environment. Okay? Now, even if you have not studied that chapter, still you will be able to analyze this graph. So, how you're finding? So, your growth is decreasing as your precipitation is increasing and the temperature is falling. So, growth decreases as precipitation increases and temperature falls. So what should be the correct answer? Or either other way around, you can say growth is increasing as temperature is increasing and precipitation is reducing. Isn't it? So it is inversely proportional to precipitation but directly proportional to temperature. See? You don't even have to study the chapter to come to the conclusion. So whenever you get a graph, don't hide from there. Okay, don't skip that graphical question. See what is given there. Okay, read at least. All right, moving to the next one. Question number 7. So they are saying the following matrix shows the relationship between probability of death and duration of species association. Okay, and in this matrix, you can clearly see that on the x-axis they have labeled probability of death, and y-axis is telling you duration of association. And the probability of death is also from low to high, and here also you have low to high. So that means this is the quadrant. So A quadrant, it is telling you that the duration of association is high and the probability of death is low. B is saying duration of association is high, but the probability of death is very high. C is duration of association is low, probability of death is also low. And D is duration of association is low, probability of death is high. Okay. So now you have been given these different species: parasites, parasitoids, grazers, and predators. You have to put these categories of species in the respective matrices depending upon their relationship. So parasites, you already know what are parasites. Host parasite interaction. So there is an association between the host and the parasite. That will determine the probability of death for the host, whether the probability is high or whether it is low. Same for parasitoids. Grazers, examples, cow. So they are feeding on the grasses, right? So that is their relationship with the grass. So what is their association? What is the duration of association with the plant? Whether it's killing the plant or not. So what's the probability of death? Same for predators. Predators, prey predator relationship. So now if you place them, take up each and every category and first place it yourself. Don't look at what they have given you, A for parasites or A for carnivores and all. No. First you look at the categories, the different relationships that has been given here. You analyze and you place them in the respective matrices as what you feel it should be, and then search the answer. What do you think? What should be the correct answer? The correct answer is option A. So parasites will come here. Probability of death is low, duration of association is high. The parasites, they might spend a part of their life cycle or their entire life cycle in a host, or maybe two hosts they can have. But they usually don't kill the host. Okay, they just spend their life cycle within the host. That can have an impact on the host, but that doesn't lead to death as such. Okay, so probability of death for a parasite is low. All right, but parasitoid is, it is like a parasite. They also spend their life cycle within the host, but they kill the host in the process. Okay, the host is sure going to die. So probability of death, so duration of association is high, but probability of death is also high in the case of your parasitoids. Next will come the grazers. Duration of association is going to be low, and the probability of death is also low. The cows, if you ever have seen or observed a cow in the fields, you will see the cow just eats the upper part of the grass. It doesn't uproot the grass. It just eats the leafy thing. Okay, so it doesn't kill the grass at all. The grass will again regrow from that area. And once it has finished eating from one area, it will move over to the next one. So the duration of association is also low, and the probability of death is also low. Okay, for predators, duration of association is definitely low because the predator only goes and hunts the prey. That's it. There's no more interaction with the prey. Okay, so the duration of association is low, but it ensures the death of the prey. Okay, so probability of death is high. All right, moving to question number 8. All right, this was a question asked from the chapter Species Interaction. Now, this chapter Species Interaction, you can get these kinds of questions. You can also get some theoretical questions, okay, based on the different kinds of interactions. You can also get some numerical questions from Lotka Volterra. Okay. Okay, moving on to question number 8. Again, this is a graphical based question, graph based question. Again, I will tell you, read. Read before skipping. So they are saying that an observation was made on a species experiencing three factors, A, B, and C, in order to infer a density dependent population regulation by a factor. The following graph shows the relationship between the adverse effect of the factors in terms of number and population density. Okay? Based on the above observation, which of the following is correct? So, population density adverse effect. And they are asking you to conclude whether these adverse effect is density dependent, inversely density dependent. What? So, what should be the answer? Come on, again, I'm not getting any response. Are you trying? Should I continue? Should I continue the discussion or should I stop it here itself? Are you trying to solve or you're just waiting for me to give the answer? What? Continue. Okay. But I also need some energy from your end. We have almost reached question 8, just two more are left. Why don't we make this session interactive? Come on. Scared of giving me wrong answers? Well, it doesn't matter. Whether you're giving a correct answer or wrong answer is not a matter because this is not an exam. I'm not taking your exam. I'm discussing with you. It's a revision and it is also, you can say, a reflection of your concept, like what you have studied. Okay? So don't bother about if it is a right answer or wrong answer. The main thing is you should try. And I will only understand if you're trying or not if you give me some answers. Okay. Gayatri has given me option C. The correct answer is option B. Now let's analyze why. Okay? All right. First and foremost, as you can see this line, let's start from this one. This is heading straight, right? Is a diagonal. And as you can see here, this is like the adverse effect doesn't have any direct relationship to the population density. It's not having any particular impact. Okay? So we can say this adverse effect, it is density independent. The numbers will keep on increasing. But if you look at C, it is definitely density dependent because the adverse effect is increasing as your population density is increasing. So it is density dependent. What about this? This is density inversely. It is also density dependent. Okay, but it is inversely. Why? Because see, the curve is coming down somewhere, is curving down, isn't it? So the population adverse effect increases as your population density increases, and after a point, it becomes retarded or it starts to decline. So that's why we say that it is inversely density dependent. Since we have an option here which says inversely. ठीक है? So, Suraj, Gayatri, yes, I'm very happy that you have tried, both of you. Okay. So another question. So three important biological parameters: generation time, population growth rate, and metabolic rate per gram body weight are a function of the organism's body size. Which of the curve A or B represents the correct relation of each of the parameters to body size? So generation time, here they have given you the body size. So how your population growth rate and metabolic rate is dependent. The correct answer is option C. Generation time will increase as your body size increases. Okay? Population growth rate will decrease, as you can see here. And the metabolic growth rate will also increase. Okay? Now, this is again a question from your chapter 1. All right? Okay. So, as you know, we already have started this Lakshya batch. All right? For your June exam. And we are already conducting the classes. So, you have the unlimited classes, you have the chat support, you have a study portal where you can always go back and revise the class, or if you miss a class, you can always check it out. You have the Conceptica series free access, which is a revision kit. And we take a lot of tests because, at least after discussing these questions, you have understood that question answer discussion is so important. Okay, so we have weekly tests, we have quests, we also have this AIMNet series, we also have the ToughNet questions. Okay, and during our class also we discuss some previous questions, so a lot of questions for you all to practice. So if you're interested, you can definitely reach us out. We will definitely help you to qualify the exam. All right. Okay. One more question before I end. So this is again a question from your population ecology. So it is saying that the birth rate and the death rates of two species, species 1 and species 2, in relation to population density are shown in the graph. Which of the following is not true about the density dependent effects on birth rates and death rate? So here they have given you the population density on the x-axis. So from low to high it is increasing. Okay. And then you have the birth rate and the death rate on the y-axis. Now the birth rate is given as B for the two species B1 and B2, and the death rate is given as D1 and D2. Again, this is a graphical question. But this is very easy again. Read the question and try to give me the answer. Now, this is the last question for my discussion, so I would expect all of you to try this question and give me the answer for this question. Again, I'm telling you, right or wrong is not the point. The point is trying, analyzing. And I will only understand if you're analyzing, if you're trying, if you give me the answer. I'm not going to judge your answers. Okay? But I'm more focused on your analysis. I'm more interested in how you're analyzing. Okay, Gayatri has given me an answer. What about others? All right, let me tell you that since you are present till the end of this discussion, you will be given a link in this chat itself, a link to a PDF containing some tough questions. Okay, this link will get activated in the next half an hour. All right, so you can come back and you can attempt. So in the meantime, revise the topics, come back, click on this link to get some more questions. Okay, we will give you some difficult questions to solve. So you have some time, you're getting some time. Revise this topic right now, Unit 10, and again attempt some questions, because question solving is what you need right now for the upcoming exam also and for the next exam as well. So what should be the answer for this? Okay, Suraj has also answered. So the correct answer here is option 4. Let's see. We'll go by statements. Okay. First statement, they are saying that the birth rates are density dependent in species 1. Birth rate. Are they density dependent? Very clearly understood, right? So, okay, we can say it is density dependent. The birth rate is density dependent in case of species 1, because we can see that, yeah, some changes are happening as your density is increasing. Okay. Next, they are saying density independent in species 2. Well, that is not very clear also. Okay. Now, in the next statement, they are saying that death rates are density dependent in both the species. Death rates. All right. This one they are saying density independent. Okay, so it is more or less a straight graph. So we can say that, yeah, this is correct. Okay. So we can say that statement 1 is correct. Birth rates are density dependent. Yeah, it is density dependent. It's tilting somehow. and this is density independent for the B2. The second, they are saying death rates are density dependent in both the species. So obviously we can see that the death rate is somehow increasing as the density is also increasing. So it is density dependent definitely. Density dependent effect on birth rate is stronger in species 1 than species 2. Density dependent effect on birth rate is stronger in species 1 than in species 2. It is absolutely correct because we see the species 1 is deviating. Can you see it is not a straight line? So the if impact on species 1 is more than species 2. So this is also correct. The density dependent effects on death rates are similar in both the species. Is it so? No. If it had been similar, there would have been only a single line, not two different lines. So therefore, this statement is not correct. And they have asked you to find out the not true. Okay? So again, this is a question which for this you don't have to study also. Just applying your common sense. This is not even logical. This is a common sense question. Okay? Just applying your common sense, you can answer this question. Right? So with this, I end my discussion here. Thank you, everyone. And I wish you all the best. So quickly revise, come back to the link to find some more questions. It will get active within uh, half an hour. All right. Thank you and goodbye.